Okay, so yesterday we talked about leading our readers or leading our writing, and those are ways to get our readers' attention and get them to keep reading our writing. So all of us should now have strong leads to our writing because I saw them all on Seesaw and we did a great job. So today we're going to be talking about transitions in our writing. So we're going to be transitioning from stating our opinion to stating our reasons or examples for why we have that opinion. So we're going to be using some transition words and phrases, and we're going to practice those. And I'm going to show you how I use those transitions in my writing. So the first transitions we're going to look at are ways to state our opinion. So when we state our opinion, this is our topic sentence or our first page in our booklet, and our conclusion, or the place that we restate our opinion at the end of our writing. So these are the two places we're going to see these types of transitions. So here I have some examples for us, and I'm just going to read a couple of my favorites, but you guys can use any of these in your writing. So the first one I like is saying, I believe. So for this one, I'm going to give you a sample sentence for what one of your guys' sentences may be. So it could be, I believe that first graders should have a longer recess time. So that is stating your opinion, and you're saying why, or you're saying what you believe. Your next one that you could use is I think. So in my writing, I say, I think first graders should have more time to eat their lunch. So that's, I told you what I thought, and that is stating my opinion. And one more that I really like is saying, in my opinion. So you can say, in my opinion, I think first graders should have gym class every day at school. So you're giving your opinion, and you're telling your readers what your opinion is. So some other ones you could use are I feel, I like, or I do not like. So another part of transitions is you have to transition to saying your first reason for why you have your, or for your opinion. So this can be a reason or an example. So reason number one, some ways you can transition to say this is, one important reason is, and then you state your reason. And we all have all of our reasons and examples in our organizer, so we just have to get them written in our booklets. Another one you can say is, one reason is, or in my writing, I said to begin, or you can say first, I think first graders should have more lunch because, or to start. So all of these are ways that you can start explaining your reasons. So here's a picture of my writing. So up here, this is my first reason, and I have my sketching and my labeling up here. And then I have even a speech bubble up here for saying what the girl is feeling. So the transition word or phrase I used was to begin because it's my first reason. So it's beginning my writing. So it says, to begin, first graders should have more time to eat because they won't have to rush to finish eating. So if you see here, I have my transition word here, and I have my important word because it's a reason. So we need that word because in there. So I want you to take a second and think of maybe something that you can use. So I went back to our page. So we have one important reason is, one reason, to begin, first, or to start. So these are some possible ways for you to start your writing. And I want you to write down the one or two that you like the most and think that you might use. So then when we're in our independent writing time, you have an idea of what you will use. So you can write it on scratch paper or you can write it in your booklet so you remember what it is. So go ahead and do that now. I'll give you a minute to do that. Okay, now that you have one or two of those written down, we're going to go on to some transition words for our second reason. But for our second reason, some ways that we can transition into our writing into saying or stating our second reason, you can say another reason is, or then, or you can say next, I think first graders should have more time for lunch because they have to get their energy out at recess. And if they have to finish their lunch, they don't have enough time. Or you can say the next reason is first graders have little mouths, so they cannot eat very fast. Or second, students should have gym class every day because they get to exercise, and exercise is important. And the last way you can transition into your second reason is saying also, first graders need to burn energy, so having gym class every day would be very beneficial. So those are some ways that you can transition into your second reason. So now I'm going to show you how I transitioned into my reason. So this is an example. I used an example. So our phrase one time kind of serves as a transition. So it says, one time I saw a student have no time to play at recess because they had to finish eating lunch. So my example is that I saw a student who didn't get to eat or didn't get to play at recess because they had to finish eating their lunch first. So now we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to go to our second page, and we're going to write down one or two of these reasons, transitions, words that we may want to use in our writing. So then they're at easy access for us. So if you haven't finished writing those, you can go ahead and pause this video so then you have time to finish writing them. And then once you're done writing them, you can play it again. And we'll be moving on to our transition words for our third reason. So this is our last reason in our opinion writing. So this is going to be transitioning into this last reason. So some ways that you can transition into this is you can say third, or my third reason is, or you can say the most important reason that first graders should get more time for lunch is because we don't want them to get tummy aches. Or we can say, finally, my last reason is, or last, or my last reason is, or if it's your best reason or the reason you think is the most important, like up here, you can say, the best reason that we should have gym class every day is because we get to exercise. So now we're going to transition into looking at what I used for my last reason. So we're going to look at the transition phrase that I used to tell my readers my last reason for wanting first graders to have more time for lunch. So my sentence says, my final reason is that more time for lunch will help because first graders have little mouths and can't eat very fast. I remember when I read you guys that one when we were in school, you guys didn't like that one very much because you thought I was making fun of your little mouths. So if you look here, my transition phrase I used was my final reason, and that's telling my readers that this is the last reason I have for wanting more time for first graders to eat lunch. And look what I have here, my magic word because, that all reasons have to have. All reasons must have this magic word because. And you guys know that. We've been over that. So now I'm going to go back to this page, and I want you guys to do the same thing like we were. I want you to write down 1 or 2 of these that you think you're going to use in your writing. And I want you to write them either on your booklet page or on a scratch piece of paper. So you can come back to them later and you won't have to rewatch the video again. Okay, if you're not finished writing these down, that's okay. I just want you to click pause on the video. And then once you're finished writing them, you can click play on the video again and you'll resume to see what we do next. So we're done for today, and I want you guys to continue working on putting those transition words into your writing. I know a lot of you guys are still at your sketching. So what you're going to do is you're going to write those transition words on your booklet page. So you're going to write them on your pages that look like this, but you're going to write them just on this top line if you have no writing. So see how my transition word is the first word? If you're going to use one of your transition words, but you don't have your writing done yet, you're just going to write your transition word or your transition phrase on your page like that. And you might not have any of this writing, but that's totally okay. I want you to at least get 1 page done. So 1 page done with your sketches, your labels, your transition word, and your writing. And once you have that, you're done writing for the day. And then you can go on to free writing during your independent time. And once you're done doing that, you're going to go on to Seesaw, and there'll be an activity to take a picture of your booklet pages and post them onto Seesaw for Mrs. Albrecht and I to see.